Hello, my name is Eric Willison, and I'm an attorney in Ohio, practicing landlord tenant law since 1996 on behalf of both landlords and tenants. So I see the law from both sides. And this video today is going to talk about landlord tenant rights in Ohio. And the first thing I want to mention is that the landlord tenant laws of every state are different. I'm only licensed to practice in Ohio, and so I can only give advice about landlord tenant law in Ohio. So if you're looking for information about landlord tenant law in California, this is not the video for you. Now, the first thing you want to think about in landlord tenant law in Ohio are the two sources of law that give rights to the tenants and to the landlords. The first is the lease agreement that is signed between them. A lease agreement can be in writing, or it can be oral, or it can arise by implication. Now, what I mean by that is that if, let's say, a landlord and a tenant are in a written lease that goes for a year, and the year ends, and that next month the landlord still receives the rent from the tenant for another $500, and the tenant still pays it, and no one objects, and they keep on going. Well, clearly at that point you have another lease by implication, in other words, the actions of the parties. So those are the three ways that a lease can arise. One is in writing, which is the best way. Two is an oral lease, and three is by implication. The other source of a landlord's or a tenant's rights in Ohio is the Landlord Tenant Act of 1974. Now, that act is still good law today. It's broken down into about 18 or 19 different subsections. The first subsection is a definitional section of the act. It defines who a tenant is, it defines who a landlord is, defines certain terms like security deposits and all that sort of thing. And one of the important things to note is that this covers residential tenancies, not commercial tenancies. So if you are renting a storefront in a shopping center and you've got a problem with your landlord, the Landlord Tenant Act of 1974 is not going to have any application to you. So that's a quick thumbnail sketch of where your rights come from in a landlord-tenant setting. In other videos, we are going to be talking about the rights and remedies in particular situations.